Okay, so this is a spoiler-free review of Transformers Rise of the Beast. Just getting home from checking it out, and yo, listen, this movie was bananas. I was expecting it to be good and entertaining, and it excelled on that, and it excelled in so many areas. Now, the opening sequence in this movie, it's good. It's obviously hard to top what Bumblebee did, but the opening sequence, sets up how the rest of the ride is going to be, and it does a really good job, especially early on, allowing this movie to properly introduce you to this sequel and this now timeline of Transformers. After seeing this, I don't believe that this movie is going to somehow retcon the timeline and like Days of Future Past the timeline into the Bay films. I do think that this is just a sequel to Bumblebee. Bumblebee was a new reboot, and this is now branching out into two different timelines, and we're now going on this timeline of the live action Transformer movies, if that makes sense. And shout out to Stephen Cable Jr., to the cast, the crew, the studios, to everybody that worked on this movie. It's very, very well polished. It's a very, very good story. It's easy to follow. It's not a big jumbled mess like how some Transformers movies are. So yes, on like the fun and entertainment meter, it's a 10 out of 10, an absolute must watch. Definitely check it out in theaters before spoilers start to come out on the internet, because there are some things, and one thing in particular that happens in this movie that I truly, in my like wildest dreams, never thought I would experience. There's also just one mid-credit scene. Nothing happens at the very end, so once you experience that, you're welcome to leave. The movie itself is about 2 hours total in runtime, so the pacing, yeah, it really was well. It didn't feel overly long. Some of these blockbusters, they just get to be way too long, and you can already, while watching it, pick where you as a viewer would shave some time. I didn't really have none of that here. There's maybe a few seconds of dialogue that kind of felt force-fed, but outside of that, I found myself just be really engaged and entertained. And this movie does such a good job of creating relatable characters in Noah and Elena and allowing them to bond with the audience. Like, I did find myself caring for them. I think I found myself caring for Haley Steinfeld's character in Bumblebee more, but you do find yourself rooting for Elena and Noah especially in some parts. Now, over the last several years, we've seen a lot of this type of story, this world-ending threat from way out in the universe. We kind of saw it with Darkseid and Steppenwolf. There's a little bit of that relationship and dynamic with Unicron and Scourge, but the threat does feel real, and the movie does a great job of creating suspense and tension to at least still keep you engaged enough, despite it being, beats that are pretty familiar to some other movies that you've probably seen. The visual side of the movie too, it's a spectacle. It's probably the best looking Transformers movie yet. Definitely the best sounding one as well, in my opinion. Also, the soundtrack. Oh my goodness. This movie takes place in 1994, my birth year. Shout out to all my 94 people out there. And the music that was used in this movie, it just immerses you into 1994. It felt very much like Into the Spider-Verse in that the music is just, it's so iconic. It fits so well with the world that they're building and the story that they're telling. I really like that bit of it. The visuals were polished enough that didn't take you out of the movie. You could tell when there was some CGI happening. Obviously, it's a Transformers movie. It's a movie about giant robots fighting giant robots, but it was polished enough that it didn't take you out of the experience. On the entertainment side of things, this movie is a 10 out of 10. It's so much fun to watch. It's so entertaining. You're absolutely going to get your money's worth. If you're a fan of this franchise, you're going to love this movie. They do some things in this movie that'll totally catch you off guard, and some things that'll just like naturally get you pretty hype. And then there's that one thing where you won't see it coming. I loved it. It total jaw dropper. I got so excited. Everybody in the Cineplex was like going out of their minds. It was sweet. It was awesome that they did that. I really hope that this movie gets enough steam that we can see more of this timeline and this version of the live action Transformers. It would just be so rad being able to see where they can continue to take this franchise, as now that it's clearly branched off into a whole new timeline. Anyways, that's it for me. If you watch this movie, let me know what you think. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, let me know down below. Just don't let me know why. We're going to try to keep the comment section spoiler free. I do have another video where I'll go into spoilers on why I like this movie, but yeah, for this one, keep it spoiler free. Just let people know if you liked it or you didn't like it. But yeah, that's it for me. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace out.